There are many cars that can be considered an icon for whatever reason, but perhaps one of the smallest automotive icons is that of the Mini. To understand why the Mini is so iconic, first we're going to need a brief history lesson.
During the mid to late 1950s, as the road-going population of Britain was increasing, this meant that more and more cars were being pushed onto Britain's already crowded roads. So, as the road space decreased, it made sense to get a smaller car, due to all of the advantages that this brought. So naturally there was a rise in tiny fuel-efficient cars that were coming in from across the channel. Many cars like the Fiat 600 and the BMW Isetta, both of which were very small and economical cars that the people needed to navigate all of the new big cities. And in 1959, the BAC, or British Motor Corporation, responded with a spiritual successor to the well-loved Morris Minor. This was known as the Morris 7, or it was known as the Morris Mini Minor, but of course it's now much more recognisable, simply put, as the Mini. The Mini was unveiled at the 1959 British Motor Show, and it certainly would have been a standout at the show, not only because of its size. The man who designed the car was Sir Alec Esigones, and the idea was to comfortably fit 4 people into a bold, racy car. And the results certainly speak for themselves. The main thing that provided the most amount of cabin space was the flat floor, because all of the engine components were at the front, meaning that the floor was uncompromised, allowing for the maximum amount of cabin space possible. This is made even more important when you think of the other cars that the Mini was competing against, most notably the Fiat 600, which, as you can tell by this cutaway diagram, it was a little bit cluttered.
Yep. Yeah, I know it isn't the, shall we say, biggest, but back here you get your petrol tank, sometimes even a spare tyre, and typically this is where your battery is stored. Now, I know it's not a lot, but the point is that you still have a boot, which for a car this size is still an impressive feat. Now, the point of the car was to have a small package, but a spacious interior, and I think the designers did a pretty good job. Personally, I'm around 6 foot, and I think I could still grow a little bit more even. The dashboard is very open and clear and allows you to store things, initially handbags on there. The seats are pretty comfortable, to be fair. I don't know if I'd want to do a road trip in this, but if I need to get to the shops, this might actually be better than what we make today because it is so small and still has a good amount of space.
Now, of course, the main reason why you have so much cabin space in the middle is because everything is squeezed up the front, at least in terms of the core mechanics. Starting, of course, with the engine. In this case, we have the 998cc A-Series 4-cylinder. Underneath that, we have the gearbox, which is the 4-speed manual in this case, and that is connected directly to the differential, sending all 55 horsepower to the front wheels. In terms of steering, you have a simple rack and pinion steering column, which allows you to make some very impressive turning circles, thanks in part to the angle that it's able to get, combined with just the general size of the Mini.
Now, with that being said, let's go for a drive.
Here's the canyon.
Here's a canyon. Very big potholes. Look how
You should be able to slip around easy.
bump, bump, bump. So, taking the Mini out on the open road. One word I could use to describe that is it is a bit of an event. The noise that you get from this car is quite loud. I'm having to speak quite loud to try and get myself over that little boxy engine there. It's just a joyous experience. The gearbox is certainly unique, and you need to get used to how far away everything is. But, you know, I feel perfectly comfortable in here, which is quite a good thing. The wheel's huge, which I find a bit comical. And yeah, you certainly see that with people who just walk by. They give it a little smile because they know it's something a bit different, but not in an egotistical way. Visibility, very good. It's like a fishbowl in here except for the roof. But the mirrors are tiny to go with everything else in this car. And they shake a lot too, so you really need to make sure that there is a car behind you.
Bonnet's popped open.
Has it?
Yep.
Oh, do we need to pull over?
It'll be alright to get back.
Sure, but
That's just part of owning an old, you know.
it's part of the charm of having a Mini.
Yeah.
The bonnet will just pop open. And then two hands, you twist a massive steering wheel with no power steering, of course, because why would you want that? But of course, parking it's easy because you can fit about two of them into any modern-sized car park. Handbrake, very strong, and then make sure it's neutral. And back to peace and quiet.
So why is this car such an icon? There are many answers, but I want to start off with, well, it's a film icon. Having had starring roles in films such as The Italian Job, where essentially the three minis that appear are a part of the main cast of characters, and easily the most recognisable part of the movie. Continuing on to something that everybody will recognise, it is the use, of course, of a Mini in the well-loved comedy film series Mr. Bean, in which the use of a Mini helps to solidify the character of Mr. Bean as an unusual and funny character. It has also been used in more serious films, such as The Bourne Identity, which, in contrast to the other two films, has a much darker tone, but the Mini doesn't feel out of place in this one, showing that the car is versatile for whatever film you'd want it to appear in. The Mini is also a motorsports icon as well. BAC prepared a handful of cars for the 1960 Monte Carlo Rally, in which the Mini reportedly gripped very well and it was a huge amount of fun for the drivers, but it finished towards the end of the pack, mostly due to its lack of power. A solution appeared in the form of John Cooper, a friend of Alec Igones. John's team had just won the World Drivers' Championship, and he was able to convince BAC to let him build a Mini that was purpose-built for a rally. And in 1964, at the Monte Carlo Rally, the Mini Cooper S was unveiled, with twice the horsepower of the original, which only had 37 horsepower. Thanks to this, the Mini was now able to compete, and it won at the 1964 and the 1965 Monte Carlo Rally. And just for good measure, they won it again in 1967. Thanks to their performance and low price, the Mini appeared in a lot of touring car racing, most famously in the British Touring Car Series, in which the Mini helped to create the David and Goliath effect, where the big heavy Chevys and Mustangs would power along the straights, and the small and light Escorts and Minis would outdo them in the corners. It made for some brilliant racing fun. The Mini still has a huge following today, particularly on the track. Even down in what is literally the most southern racetrack in the world, I was able to go see some old Minis fighting it out not only amongst themselves, but also against their old rivals. Except for this one, which lost its wheel. The Mini then first and foremost was a people's car, but it was for literally everyone, you, me, and even celebrities. such as every single member of the Beatles, some of the coolest people of the world, such as Steve McQueen, and even motorsport legends like Enzo Ferrari.
The main thing I want to convey to you about the Mini, particularly just driving it about, is the ultimate joy that you're able to get from it. Whoa. I mean, it's a tiny car, so not only is it practical, but it means that you cannot be taken seriously while driving it. You almost have to keep a little smile on your face, just because of the uniqueness of what it is and just being so different to everything else, particularly in today's day and age when there aren't as many of these on the road. You really recognize when there is one on the road. It's hard work. I mean, compared to a day and age where most of the cars sold are automatics, you really need to work your way through this gearbox, all 4 speeds of it. But the main thing is it's just a joy to drive. You can't be taken seriously while driving the Mini. It's just, you know, the big steering wheel, the tininess of how it is. You're so low down that everything looks ginormous. Even these bushes look as if they're massive in comparison to you driving the Mini. But it's a whole drama to it that you cannot get over. And, you know, changing a gear is an event. It takes time to learn how to do it properly. And the handling's brilliant. I have made my argument as to why I think this is probably one of the best and smallest, definitely, automotive icons of all time. Now, I do hope you enjoyed. Please do like and subscribe. It does help quite a bit. And yes, do tell me what you think of the Mini Cooper below. Do you think perhaps there's an even smaller automotive icon? I can think of a few. But with all that being said, have a wonderful day, and thanks again for watching.
Oh no, it's just
We're gonna need to move cameras.
check it off. Ooh.
Oh yeah, you can hear the...
Yeah. You can hear a, I don't know what it is, but when you turn it off you can hear liquid.
Oh.
I'm not sure what it must